Alright, I'll do it. Hello, welcome. That's right, this is an episode of Coffee and Contemplation. I'm your host, Old Heart. I'm here drinking a cup of coffee, trying to bring some information into my brain that I potentially did not know the day before, which is always alright with me. It's called ripening up your coconut. You should do it as best you can every day. This is not necessarily the best attempt, but it is an attempt. I'm sitting down here over at Old Heart Studios in Olympia, Washington, trying to get my noggin going. And I've always found a cup of coffee helps along with that. It's like coffee's like the lubricant for synthesizing just about anything, you know? It just helps you do it at a quicker speed. Oh, thank you, yes. I am here. Don't you know it? Oh, it just keeps going. See, I'm so favorable. Everybody loves me. Nope, it ended. Okay. Nobody loves me. Well, now, shout out to Mooner6. That's an Instagram handle, just a heads up. That's right, I'm shouting out Instagram handles now because that's primarily where you should find me other than this podcast. That being said, today we are talking about Eastern Washington. A place close to my heart for a number of reasons. One, I kind of grew up on that side of Washington State. Two, I hate Eastern Washington. Hate's a strong word. I have very good memories with some parts of places, but in general, I don't agree. That's what I'll say. Eastern Washington is the portion of the United States state of Washington east of the Cascade Range. Did you catch that? It's east of the Cascade Range. The region contains the city of Spokane, which is the second largest city in the state. It also contains the Tri-Cities, the Columbia River, which I adore, and the Grand Coulee Dam, as well as the Hanford Nuclear Reservation, farmland in the Yakima Valley, and the Palouse. The highest elevation in Eastern Washington is Mount Adams, which sits at 12,276 feet. That's 3,741 meters for our European listeners. It also contains a population of about 1,580,000 and some change. And I say change as in like 3,000 extra people or so, give or take. What do you call change? I'm a rich man. A significant difference between Eastern Washington and the western half of the state is its climate. That is probably one of the things that people point out the most. And while the west half of the state is located in a rainy oceanic climate, the eastern half receives little rainfall due to the rain shadow created by the Cascade Mountains. Also, due to being a little further from the sea, which kind of makes sense. The east side has both hotter summers and colder winters than the west side. Most communities in Eastern Washington, for example, have significant yearly snowfall, which does not happen on the west side. I live on the west side of Washington now, and we do not get snow. One year we got like a couple of inches. The first year I moved here was like the snowpocalypse snowstorm that shut the town down. It was crazy. Although, like, I kind of miss walking around at night, like in a snowy area, because it's just like, I don't know, it's beautiful and kind of quiet. I like it. Anyway, that doesn't happen over here. In Eastern Washington, you get snowfall every year. Most communities in Eastern Washington, for example, have a yearly I already said this, right? This is what the coffee's for. It just helps. By the way, I'm drinking a Guatemalan coffee from Baddorf and Bronson. It is delicioso. It's like a sweet marinara. Not in the tasting note. Don't take that as a tasting note. It does not. It has like this nice, like kind of like pecan-y sort of notes. There is some variation in both the rainfall throughout Eastern Washington, but usually it gets very little rainfall. Which is one of the biggest differences. Like over here in Western Washington, you get dumped on. In Eastern Washington, it's like the odd day. that you randomly get rainfall. It's just like it stops everything. You're just like, no, I'm staying inside today. Ooh. Also, primarily with like all the agriculture over there, the agriculture in Eastern Washington, they use irrigation systems to water their crops and whatnot. If they were over here, it'd just be like a natural fall. The following cities and towns in Eastern Washington have over 10,000 inhabitants. Spokane Valley, Yakima, Kennewick, Pasco, Richland, Wenatchee, Walla Walla, Pullman, Moses Lake, Ellensburg, Sunnyside, West Richland, East Wenatchee, Cheney, and Grandview. Woo! And Spokane does have the biggest of those, with 200,017 people in a roughly 300, give or take. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. Like Eastern Washington, the population spread out over a vast part of the land. Well, shoot! Shout out to Phil Collins. Shout out to Jamie B. Jammin. Shout out to Yella T. Shout out to Uncaged. Shout out to Casserole. Shout out to Olivia Olive My Wood. Shout out to Mooner 6. Shout out to Harrison Hannon, and shout out to Stray Dog. Go find them all on Instagram. They are on there. They're cool people. They do cool things every now and then. Also, find me on there, Old Heart Radio. Go look it up. Also, make sure you listen to this podcast. Tell your friends about it. And, you know, maybe people you hate too, just, you know, to try and get it out there. That being said, moving on from that. Some of the counties in Eastern Washington are Adams, I'm moving on. Benton, Chelan, Columbia, Douglas, Ferry, Franklin, Garfield, Grant, Kittitas, Klickitat, Lincoln, Okanagan, Pendorile. Oh my gosh. Sometimes your mouth does not work with your brain, and your brain does not work with your mouth. That being said, the coffee's still going. Moving on. Population. Compared to Western Washington, Eastern Washington has roughly twice the land area and 1/4 the population. That's what I'm fucking talking about. Uh-oh. I owe coins to the coin jar. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Your boy Old Heart has a swear jar. A swear jar that he keeps swearing into for eternity. Yes, I did just sigh on air. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the population estimate as of July 2014 was roughly 1,547,303 people. It's kind of grown since then. The population growth between the two sides of the state are roughly the same. But like I said, it's a lot smaller of a area over here in Western Washington that people are crammed into with a lot more people. It's like sardines in a can. Eastern Washington holds some world-renowned universities: Central Washington University, Eastern Washington University, Washington State University. It also has a lot of community colleges, which shout out to your local community college. They do a lot of good work, and they give good education. Honestly, get out there. They're undersung heroes. Well, all teachers are really unsung heroes. Unsung? Undersung. That's what I'm saying. Undersung heroes. A lot of local community colleges, though. I think that's really cool. Like Big Bend Community College, Columbia Basin, Spokane Community College, Spokane Falls Community College, Walla Walla Community, Wenatchee Valley College, shout out to Wenatchee Valley College, and Yakima Valley College. At times, there has been a proposed idea of of dividing Washington State into two separate states, which is just bonkers to me. I mean, you can't divide the state. One of the coolest things, one of the neatest things, and this is coming from somebody who's lived in Washington State his whole life. The coolest thing about Washington is the divide. The coolest thing about Washington is the fact that there's a little of everything. We have all these different climates. We have these different political atmospheres. We have these different societal atmospheres. We have these, I don't know. We have a lot of everything up here, and people don't realize that. People don't appreciate that. It's a lot of different perspective. It's a lot of different, I don't know, like I said, different climate, different landscape, different, but we have a little of everything, it seems like, which can be good It can also be really bad. I'm just throwing that one out there. That being said, I guess throughout recording this podcast, maybe I realized there are some things about Eastern Washington that I do appreciate. One, including my family. I'm just going to say that. Shout out to my family. But it's got some beautiful areas over there. That's not a joke. But Western Washington does too. Anyway, we'll figure this out. But I can't decide which side of the state I like more. And I don't know if I want to have to, because I want to like the whole state. And that's kind of it. Like, I don't want to... I feel like if I'm choosing one or the other, I'm choosing a political message. I'm choosing, like, a social message. I'm choosing, like, red or blue. And, like, that seems so strange to me. Like, the whole state should just be fucking purple. Because... honestly, like, there's nothing wrong with having the different perspectives. It's just that there has to be agreement with that, I guess. You have to make peace with the fact that your neighbor may not think the same thing as you, I guess. I don't know. Something Washington State's not good at right now. Also, Eastern Washington, I have gotten far more sunburns than I have in Western Washington. And that's true. Western Washington. Gosh, I need to work on pronunciation. Pronunciation's hard when you're trying to talk fast and you also don't really open your mouth when you speak. When you don't really open your mouth when you speak. How now, brown cow? I'm literally just making noise at the end of this podcast. Why? Because you aren't paying me to record this. I'm just doing this for shits and giggles. Oh, okay. So all money that's going into the swear jar, by the way, just goes right back into my pocket, which I really appreciate. It's a nice way of funding my own day. Goodness. Well, thanks for sticking around and listening to me ramble through a little bit about Eastern Washington. The next episode will be about Western Washington, because I'm trying to focus on like the divide and what's really going on with that. Either way, this has been an episode of Coffee and Contemplation. I'm your boy Old Heart. I'm sitting down here with a Guatemalan coffee from Batdorf and Bronson that's extra delicious. You should look up that company. They make really great coffee. That being said, go out there and use your brain for good. Every day is a good day to ripen up that coconut as best as you can. And sometimes you just gotta try. Try. That's all you can do sometimes. That's okay. Because that doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means you're getting good at trying. And it's kind of what life's about, just going after shit. And I ran out of coins for the coin jar on that one. Either way, keep your stick on the ice.